Somebody see a ghost?
All right, I know what to do. 1, 2, get her! That was your big plan. Get her.
Did you just have a cigarette lying around?
Mm-hmm. I always do. Like me, always lit.
We be fast and he be slow.
Phil Taylor has entered the chat.
Phil?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Two Critical Podcast. I'm Thomas. That's Rob. And this week, it's a double barrel. We're going to be talking to Phil, the one true Nerd King, who is amazing. This is going to be his third time on the show. And we're going to be talking to Josh from For Nerds by Nerds, who was a gentleman that we had on when we were at Terrificon. He's part of a duo that has a channel on YouTube, For Nerds by Nerds. Check them out. And we are going to talk about Spider-Man. And a
little bit of Ghostbusters.
A little bit of Ghostbusters. A smidge of Ghostbusters.
A skosh.
A scotch. So we figured we would just go to some guys that are they're experts. They're experts in this stuff. So
yeah.
And we want to talk about some Spider-Man and talk about some other stuff. And Rob suggested that we get both of these guys on tonight, which I thought was a good idea. And I think this is going to be good. So here we go. Ready, Rob?
And if not, we'll just delete it. Yeah, either way.
We'll just blame it on Luke.
We'll edit it out in post.
Got it. Whatever that means. Let me Google it real quick. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, entering the chat is Phil Taylor.
I love that image. Every time he comes on, it's got that still image.
Phil Taylor, a gun in every household. That's his campaign photo right there.
Yeah.
There he is.
Phil.
Phil.
There we go.
There we go. I don't have the cool background you guys do, but I got the sweatshirt.
No, you have a real cool background, an actual practical cool background.
Oh yeah,
I love your backgrounds. You keep adding more lights every time I check in on you.
You want me to edit you one of these with the One True Nerd King logo in the middle of the Spider-Man logo? I can send that over.
Yes, dude. I suck so bad at Photoshop. I'm terrible with. Yes. 100%.
Well, you know a guy.
I know a guy.
You're good at a bunch of other stuff.
Now. Well,
that's all that matters.
Unless you ask my girl, but we don't talk about that.
Well, she doesn't know about the Western style.
Speaking of which, here is our surprise guest for the evening. Here we go. We ready? Let's get her
surprise guest.
Here we go. Let's bring her right in. No, I'm just kidding. It's not happening. Next time.
Yeah, so we have you and we have Josh from the For Nerds by Nerds podcast, who we met him at Terrificon, and we'll do a little introduction on his podcast when he's on here to actually hear about it. But yeah, him and his counterpart were pretty cool. We hung out with them for a while, and we struggled with this because we want to get you on after No Way Home comes out.
To see how disappointed I am.
No. I don't think any of us are going to be disappointed. And I think similar to Avengers Endgame, we've seen nothing and it's all misdirection. We'll get into this. This is what this whole episode is going to be about. But
there's nothing worse than a misdirection.
So we're filming this now. This is probably today's the 17th. This is probably going to come out this episode 1 week before No Way Home. But then we want to get you on right after we see it. So it'll be like back to back. Like, what did we think was going to happen? What are we hoping for? So we're recording this on November 17th. This is probably going to air right about December 17th. So, a little bit, jumping the gun with it, but we've got 4 episodes in the can already, 5 kind of, that Tom's still editing. So we wanted to do a Ghostbusters episode, but we kind of just we missed the mark. So we're seeing the movie tomorrow night. We're going to do a Ghostbusters episode after we see it. But yeah, it's tough to do a pre Ghostbusters Afterlife episode the day before the movie comes out. Because by the time we edit it, it's going to be Monday or Tuesday. No one wants to hear what we think will happen after they've already seen it. So 100%. We think that the timing works out better for this, where we can do kind of an expectation episode for Spider-Man No Way Home. So hopefully, if you're available, we want to get you and Mitch Halleck on after
cool.
we all see Spider-Man No Way Home, we'll have our nerd off and we can talk about what we did get from the movie, and it'll be perfect because it'll come out 1 week after this episode, which is all what we're hoping to see from the movie and what we think is going to happen in the movie.
Yeah.
Everybody getting this so far?
Yeah, 100%, man. I'm all in. Mitch is gonna kick my ass, but yeah, I'm still gonna, give him.
He's old and slow. Just talk fast. He can't keep up. Isolate that.
Just keep on feeding him beer. Just keep on feeding him drinks. Just.
We got to get Phil at Terrificon next year too.
Yeah, I'd be there, dude. I'm actually getting I've actually been hired to go to a couple of different cons, so I'm kind of excited. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm gonna try and hopefully get to a few more. So yeah, that's the goal. Keep on moving.
Every time I'm on Instagram, you're on there. Every single time. I mean,
I think we just spend too much fucking time on Instagram.
Yeah. So I had never.
I see you every morning. It feels like I wake up butt crack of dawn and just like, there he is. We're all here.
So it works. It works out well having two of us because we really kind of tackle it from two different ends. Tom's a night owl and I'm a morning person. So I try to get like 2 or 3 posts up by like 5 a.m. Eastern time because I'm up at like 4. So the first thing you see when you go on Instagram every day is something from me. But if you see anything after 8 p.m., it's Tom because I'm already in bed. Like the only time like tonight, I'll stay up till 10:30. I'm usually lights out 9 o'clock, asleep by 9:15.
Yeah. Oh, I totally understand that.
We got our other guy. Where's the other guy?
Where's your guy?
I'm the guy who does his job.
You're embarrassing me in front of the Wizards. I sent him the link. I have no response. Yeah.
Let me just make sure he hasn't DM'd us or anything.
Oh, amateurs.
He has. He said it. He said it's seen.
Yeah, we were just talking about. Maybe I'll save that part for it too. But
yeah, we do that all the time. Like we start talking and we start getting into stuff, and it's like, no, wait.
I need to shut up. Yeah.
So Phil, what's going on? How's everything in the Windy City?
It's still 2 hours away, but it's cold.
Cool.
Yeah, it's Michigan, dude. So I mean, we're definitely at the cooler time right now.
Hey, Lions didn't lose.
Yeah, I know, right?
They tied.
It's about as good as much you can expect from those guys. So I didn't come here for the football. I came here for the medical care. But, I'm not gonna lie, it's for my daughter.
and good drinking water. Yeah.
We have a lot of breweries. That's the safest water you can get. So
amen.
True story. But yeah, no, things are good up here. No complaints. I mean, business wise, it's busy. But that's just because we're doing a lot of PSAs. Got the studio open since the last time I talked to you guys. That's right. Done now. Yeah. Excellent. So that's 100%. So I'm starting to really look into learning different lenses, the cameras, things of that nature. So I'm actually trying to use things now, like running a DSLR and shit like that into things like this, and starting to try and pretend like I can hack it in this at least managing people that know what they're doing.
Right.
So,
you don't need to know how to do it. You just need to know how to tell people that know how to do it what you want.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm starting to try and figure that out anyways. But in the hospital, it's easy because nobody knows what the fuck we're doing. So that's the good news right now, right?
Perfect.
Doctor.
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 Just yell stat at the end of everything, and then you'll hopefully get a result.
I just love when the doctors come in. There's like, this stuff is just amazing. I've never seen anything like this in my life. They're dealing with all these like
you
Da
did
Vinci
open heart surgery.
I know, right? I'm just like, and they're just looking at a camera like, I look so many wrinkles. Like, well, you're 80. It happens.
They look at like the articulating arm that's like holding a light. They're like, is this a robot? Is this robot on?
Meanwhile, they just saved a guy and did brain surgery, but they're like mesmerized by Phil's cameras.
Yeah. Like we could fit 3 sets in there. There's an infinity wall, and we could turn the lights green. And now it's a green screen. They're just like, what?
We'll get into Ghostbusters. We'll do Ghostbusters first, because we don't want to do much of it, and we'll get into it quick. And Tom, I was even thinking it's up to you if you want to include the Ghostbusters in this episode,
Right.
or if you almost want to cut that up and put that out, even if it's not an episode, just put it on Instagram as like a 4 or 5 minute video.
I
That's
think
up
we
to you
could do
too.
like a little vignette of just Ghostbusters.
I was just going to say a vinaigrette. Yep.
a vinaigrette, salt,
A red
vinaigrette.
wine. Yeah.
Are you guys hearing good things about it? I mean,
So
I just want to see it so damn bad. I don't care what
Pe-
it's going to be, but
Tom and I are very different people when it comes to movies coming out. I don't read much. It depends on the movie. If I'm not super interested in seeing it, I'll read anything. I don't care about spoilers.
Mhm.
With this, Ghostbusters is, so for Tom, it's probably Indiana Jones is his favorite series of all time. Ghostbusters is mine.
Hmm.
So for me,
Sacred.
I've really been trying hard to not read. Like Tom was like, "Did you see this video they put out?" I'm like, "No," and I don't want to. And then we end up talking about it. I'm like, "All right, fine. Tell me what happens. Like, give me something." But people that I respect that I have read their opinions on it really liked it. Now I've seen a few negative reviews, but like Tom and I said, like one of them, you look into the person's like Twitter history or even just like Twitter page, and it's like, okay, this person loved the 2016 Ghostbusters because it was all female, and no matter how good this movie is, they were going to shit all over it no matter what.
Any article from the Mary Sue, I don't know why it's coming up in my feed, but it is. I don't know why I'm surprised, but every single person that writes for that, when you just dig into their feed a little bit and then look back on some of their stories, they're just railing about all the same stuff. And it's the people that supported the female version of Ghostbusters, and they're just trying to get back at
the people that
the
didn't support it.
Reitmans, I guess, the ones that want to have.
It's the Reitman's fault that nobody saw that piece of shit movie.
Right. Yeah.
Tom's been trying to convince me to watch it. I've never watched it. I've seen enough of it. I've seen clips of it. I've seen more than just the trailers to know that I don't need to watch it. And I've read the plot synopsis, and I've read spoilers, and I'm good.
It's fantastic.
I mean, it's a modern American work of art. I mean, it's going to go down in history.
It'll go down in history. That's for sure. I told Rob, when else are you going to see Chris Hemsworth do a song and dance number in the middle of downtown Boston in front of the National Guard? That's what I expect from a Ghostbusters movie, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Much better than his performance in Ragnarok. I mean, just totally.
Oh, hands down. Yeah.
So much.
Well, because that's what heroes do.
Yeah. All right. Well, so Josh is in the waiting room right now. So
bring him in.
Get this started.
Is he the one with the beard?
No, he's the one with the podcast.
Got it.
Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Two Critical Podcast. Josh from For Nerds by Nerds.
Fuck you, Josh.
There he is.
There he is.
Hey,
How are you,
up,
Josh?
buddy?
what's going on, fellas?
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
So Josh,
yep.
Who talks first? You talk first, or I talk first?
I talk first. You talk first.
So Josh, Phil, Josh. So we told Phil about you before we got you on here, but Phil, this is his third time on the show now. He the first time we had him on, we actually put a post online. We had someone cancel on us last minute. We said, we're recording tonight. We need a guest. Who's in? And this random person named the One True Nerd King said, I'm in. And we were like, I don't know who this guy is, but sure, let's wing it. And we love the guy. We've had a great time with him. He's come on again since, and he knows more about comics than both of us, but he's a big movie fan, comic fan, kind of like us. And I called Phil an hour ago. I was driving in my car. I called him. I'm like, can you come on tonight? He's like, when? I said,
I was finishing a YouTube, dude. I was actually just finishing a Hawkeye show about Spider-Man and the Hawkeye show coming out. Literally turned off the StreamYard, and you rang. I'm just like, hold on, guys.
I was like, can you come on? He's like, when? I'm like, in an hour and 15 minutes. And he's like, yeah, I'm in. So here we are.
There we go.
So the moral of the story is I have no life and nothing better to do every single time they are in need.
I've done shit like that. I understand.
We were banking on it. But we do want to talk Ghostbusters real quick, and we might even just chop this up and put this online sooner. The Ghostbusters talk. And it won't be a podcast episode, just like a 4 or 5 minute discussion about it. We don't need to dive too much into Tom and my opinion of it. We've talked about it a ton. Maybe we can talk about what we expect. But for you guys, I know Phil clearly already mentioned that he was looking forward to it. And Josh, I know just in the conversations we've had. So I guess we'll start with Josh first. I assume you really like the original Ghostbusters. Like, what are your expectations for this movie?
Yeah, I love Ghostbusters. I'm a little hesitant about it because it seems a lot more like childish. It seems like a thing that it was like kids like this in the 80s, so we'll make it for kids today. And it's like, that's not the same thing. Like Dan Aykroyd gets a ghost blowjob in the original movie, and now your main character are actual children. Like, it's a little weird.
You're not wrong.
I agree with that because obviously children in the 80s were watching RoboCop and and shit like that, right? And Lethal Weapon, like we were seeing all that, you know, RoboCop, that hardcore violence and Total Recall and shit. But even though the movies were made, they weren't made for kids. Kids were just seeing them. And then whole groups of people who were children grew up watching those films, and then people just thought, well, they were for children. They weren't. So I understand that. You ride that fine line of making the same movie and using the same formula, and then trying to sell T-shirts and lunchboxes at the same time. I understand that.
I don't think kids were getting the jokes about Ted and Annette Bening, and Annette draws a salary from a deferred bonus. I don't think kids were getting.
So they're okay.
Ted and Annette. Yeah. So they're all right. Phil, what about you? What do you got?
I'm 100% here for it. I think it looks fun. I do feel like it is a new life being added to Ghostbusters, which is just it's unfortunate they're not all here. Don't get me wrong. But it's a franchise that could use some new life. I love Dan Aykroyd. I love Bill Murray. I love everybody in this cast. I am elated and hopeful that they may make appearances, that they may have things they do in it. But even if they don't, I'm glad to see them actually trying to make an effort to carry on the story without having to completely rewrite the story. That's the difference between the reboot of like the 2016 to this is a continuation. This is life that happened. This shit. Yes, this is life moving forward. And so for me, for that, I'm all here for it because my life moved forward too. You know, I grew up, I changed, shit got weird, things got real. And I am here for that kind of concept. That moving forward.
I loved that in the trailer, in the original trailer. I loved right away when Paul Rudd was like, there hasn't been a ghost sighting in 30 years. And he's like, that's a ghost trap. Like, I love that it was something that people that are, because Paul Rudd's character, I'm assuming, is give or take my age, maybe.
Yeah, he's every one of us.
Yeah. And I love that, like, he grew up with this, like, this thing that happened in New York, and everyone knows about it, and they go on YouTube and see it.
A bear in his apartment.
Tom and I, when the trailers first came out, our initial fear was what Josh was saying, is like, this fucking movie better not be all Finn Wolfhard and McKenna Grace. Like, even if they're amazing, I don't give a fuck. Yeah. So Phil, not to spoil anything, the Ghostbusters are in the movie.
True.
Yeah.
So I know you were saying like, I hope they're in it. Yeah. They're in the movie.
Awesome.
And we were talking, Josh, right before you came on, and Phil asked
about you.
Fuck you, Josh.
Yeah.
Wait to see this green microphone. You're gonna shit. I said if he has that green microphone cover, I'm gonna kick a fucking cat.
Whoa. Well, it's funny you mentioned Black now because you didn't mention Ernie Hudson earlier. But talking about all the guys that he liked in Ghostbusters, and I just noticed a common theme.
What an asshole.
But listen,
the other guy too. I left him out as well.
Yeah.
He's dead. Doesn't care.
I know. That's
so Tom and I were talking with Phil about, Tom kind of is a little different than me in terms of Tom will read any spoiler, doesn't give a shit, will watch any video.
Oh no.
I am that way with movies that I don't care passionately about. I've been looking forward to this movie since the second I found out they were making it. I have been devastated for a year and a half with every time it got delayed. I was supposed to see this movie March, so it's 11 minus 3 is 8. I was supposed to see this movie 20 months ago for the first time, and I've had to wait this long.
Yeah,
So,
last summer when it was supposed to come out, but
March
everything
originally
was canceled. Yeah, and then it had gotten pushed to the summertime, and then it got pushed again. When it got pushed again, they did like a small run for drive-ins with the original Ghostbusters. They did screenings,
Right.
and then they had this like reel in the beginning that was kind of just like a short, like 5-minute kind of documentary for this new movie. And it was Jason Reitman with his dad showing like how much his dad's on set working with him to kind of make it feel like Ghostbusters, and then like how he was on, like the first movie set he was ever on as a kid was Ghostbusters.
Yep.
Yeah, and I absolutely, I think it's really hard to take a movie that long ago and now continue the story, because again, just technology, everything's so different now. So I think the aspect of having the children involved, and that obviously they're Egon's grandkids, we all know that. It's not like that's a big spoiler. The fact that it's Egon's grandkids and not just some random kids does mean more to me. So the movie is the runtime, Tom, I think is 2 hours and 4 minutes. I think that's about it. When we found out what the runtime was, Tom and I talked about it, and we said, what is the over under that like Murray, Aykroyd, and Ernie Hudson have to be in the movie for you to not be pissed off? And I said a little under a third. So not quite a quarter of the movie, but it doesn't have to be a full third. So if it's a 2 hour movie, simple math here, right? They got to be in 25 to 30 minutes of it. And I don't mean like on the phone in the background.
Yeah.
I mean in the suits with a proton pack or face to face with Zool, whatever they're doing, or Gozer. They need to be in the movie for over 25 minutes. I don't know that we're going to get that, but I think it's going to be around there. From what I've read and heard, they're more in the third act, but I don't think they're entirely just third act. But it makes sense, right? They're not going to bring them in. They're not going to be the first 20 minutes and then they're gone. Then they're not doing that. I'm actually a little excited that the movie is only 2 hours. I feel like every fucking movie now is 3 hours, which I'm not generally complaining about. Like Avengers Endgame, there's not much that I would cut out. Snyder Cut was way too fucking long. I actually like that Ghostbusters is 2 hours. And I feel like just looking at the trailers, you kind of feel like there's a lot of story they tell. Mm-hmm. But I don't think there's going to be a tremendous amount of slow period. Only because they only have 2 hours. And similar to everything else, like they're giving us what they want in the trailers, just enough to like, there's a lot more going on than what we see. Spider-Man, which we're going to get into in a minute. I mean, same scenario. It's, but it, I'll let Tom talk about Ghostbusters, but for me, I am counting the hours by whatever it is. It's almost 9 o'clock now. So, like
this time tomorrow, we'll have all the answers.
Not even. We're seeing the movie at 4 p.m. Eastern time. So in like 16 hours, we'll be sitting down to watch it. Yeah. So I am fucking ecstatic right now. Wow. I'm seeing it with Tom on Thursday and with my kids on Friday.
Oh, that's dope.
And then with my kids on Saturday.
Yeah, Tom doesn't get to come, but I'm taking his kids.
So, I mean, I think we can expect some fan service. I don't think that's a bad thing in a way. It is a sequel, so you got to give people what they want. It's a Reitman, so he's definitely going to give people what they want. From the few clips that I've seen, especially that one, I don't know if you guys have seen it. It's Paul Rudd, and then the woman that plays Egon's granddaughter.
Egon's daughter.
Egon's daughter. I'm sorry. And they have this this little back and forth, and it's dialogue, and it's very funny. And if the rest of the movie can be like that and have that Ghostbusters style banter, because I mean, most of the dialogue in all funny, even the basic lines, even just talking about, I cannot tell you how many times a week that I will say, slow down, chew your food. It just little throwaway lines like that. This magnificent feast represents the last of the petty cash. Like just little friggin' lines like that, dropping off, picking up, just like when you answer the door, I can open the door. The FedEx man's on this side, dropping off or picking up. He doesn't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Can you quickly tell them the Dana Barrett story?
Oh, I love this. This is one day I had to go to a government building in Boston that should have been way more secure than what it was, and especially for the time. This was, I think maybe it was like a year and a half ago. So it was an occupied building. There were security guards everywhere. There were people in the lobby. I definitely should have been stopped. But I've learned to do this thing a very long time ago, that when you walk into a building or anywhere, if you just pretend that you belong there and then throw out someone's name, there's like a 70% chance that it's actually going to work. So I walk into this building, big building in Boston, and there's probably like 20 yards to get to the elevators. And there's a whole bunch of guys. They're all standing there talking, all suits, security, and they stop and turn and they look at me. And without even stopping, I'm walking to the bank elevators and I say, I'm going up to Dana Barrett's place. And one guy just goes, yeah, all right. Yeah. And because he said it was okay, all the other guys around him just assumed, like, of course, no one was going to say, well, who the fuck's Dana Barrett? I need to get some clearance. They didn't do that. They just all fucking went along with it. And I walked right into the elevators and went up to where I needed to be. I'm going up to Dana Barrett's place. Oh, yep. No problem. Like he would be so, that guy would have been, if he found out who Dana Barrett actually was, like in front of all those other people, he would have looked like a fucking fool. But yeah, so it just, it's part of your daily life and your daily routine. So I hope it's going to be great. I think it's going to be good.
I think at a minimum, we will be satisfied.
Yeah.
I think the floor for this movie is, I enjoyed it.
Right.
Yeah.
God, I hope so. Because if not, I'm going to burn Somerville, Mass to the ground tomorrow at 6.
That's what I try to beat into a lot of people's heads lately is everything with most people is just like, it's good or it's bad. It's like everything doesn't have to be the best movie in the fucking world. Like,
no, what was the most recent Marvel one? Not Eternals, the one before that.
Shang-Chi.
Yeah,
Shang-Chi.
It was good. It's a good movie.
I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I really liked it.
No, it's good. It's a good movie.
Right.
Yeah. That's
it.
It's not
right.
top 10 Marvel movie, but it's a good movie.
Right.
It's not a piece of shit. It's a good movie. I need a little more than that from this. And this is just me.
Yeah. Well, this is also taking the history. This isn't, Simu Liu hasn't been waiting to play this role for the last 30 fucking years because this is how long we've been waiting on a sequel situation. I mean, it's in my mind, this is something that definitely has to deliver some basics, but really the biggest problem is going to be the audience. The audience is going to be coming in with the expectations. And I think that's where I think people forget post-COVID, we've all just been living in these weird little bubbles. And I think we always kind of forget that we're all reading into somebody else's expectations when they come out of these movies anymore. And I think that's why the bar gets lowered by some a-hole, like you were talking about, so-and-so didn't like the movie. And then you do a little research on like, of course they're not going to like it. This person's got way too much vested in the other thing or whatever it may be.
Right.
Yeah. The one thing I'll say is about Ghostbusters, like, so my kids are a little older than Tom's. Tom's kids like the movie also, but mine are, my oldest is a teenager, but even my daughter who's 9, like that movie still translates. And like those movies still carry, like, there's not many movies that I enjoyed when I was a kid that I should. Every time I put a movie on, then I'm like, kids, you're going to love this. I love this movie. They're like looking at their phone on their iPads. They're bored out of their mind 10 minutes in. They like Ghostbusters and they were very excited to go see this. And I do think we're going to get a lot of Stranger Things, Finn Wolfhard fans that maybe weren't big into Ghostbusters, but are going to see this. But I think for anyone that's above the age of 20, this is a nostalgia movie. This is what Kingdom of the Crystal Skull should have been for Tom. And I'm not being funny. I'm hoping that my Afterlife is better than his Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. That's my hope.
That's setting it pretty fucking low though, dude.
Well, I mean, it needs to be better than that. I'm just saying. Okay. So,
that's a tough movie.
But All right, so Ghostbusters Afterlife, we're all looking forward to it. You will see. We'll put something on Instagram tomorrow after we see it. No, it's not spoilers, just what we think of it.
We sincerely hope you enjoy the program. Please check us out where all podcasts are sold, and check out our YouTube channel as well. Thank you for listening, and thank you for your support. If you don't like the show, go fuck yourself.
Tommy, come on! Ra-da-da-da-doo.